Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome to Breachway. This is a fantastic demo that I am incredibly excited that I get to show off to you guys. This is a roguelite deck builder, where essentially you are the captain of a ship. You have to go through the galaxy fighting in battles and using your cards with card synergies to basically destroy other ships. It's really fun. There will be a Next Fest demo tied to this. However, this is a preview that was given to content creators such as myself, which does include an additional ship that you guys will not have access to. And that ship involves a hacking mechanic, as it were, which you'll get to see. I'm going to do basically a run on all three of the ships present in the game. This is the first one that will start Arbalest here in a second. But first and foremost, huge shout out to HForHavoc for allowing me to play this demo and show it off to you guys. And again, the first two ships will be available to you guys with some tweaks, starting with Steam Next Fest. All right, so here is the ship menu where we first get to choose our ship. Now, there's a lot going on here, and I might make a quick video laying it all out. I'm not going to go through all of this. Well, there's a chance that I probably will end up. But as you can see here, we have three ships. We have the Arbalest, the Marauder, and the Lancer. Now, the Lancer is what you guys will not get to play as, and I'm actually really excited for you guys to get to do it because the railgun is probably my favorite weapon set so far in this game. But we're going to start with the Arbalest and some basic overview things. We have like our whole health, we have morale that we can use during battles, we have money, we have fuel, we have our different resources which we will use and modify and do all of that stuff in order to utilize the deck that we have available to us, and we can expand that as we go along. We have faction relations, which will depend, which will modify what happens whenever we get to a node owned by one of those guys. And then we have our slots for our ship, and this is where our cards come into play. So if we take a look at this, the laser pulse, for instance, does 4 damage and deals modular equipment damage as well. There's lots of really cool, fun synergy things here. And again, I'm really excited to show this to you guys. This is one of my favorite games right now. So we are just gonna hang out with the Arbalest right now, and we're gonna go ahead and get it rolling. Also, the game looks fantastic. That always helps. Captain our sensor detector group of Starken gunships on our flight path. Looks like they're trying to block any ships from entering the system through this Breachway corridor. Get the title? Judging by the large number of civilian ships further ahead, the blockade is meant to keep people in. Looks like the gunships are in disarray. They haven't reacted to our approach. If we make a run at it full burn, we can punch through them with little fighting. All right, so here is the map. And as you can see, this is where the roguelike elements come into play, where we can go down different paths. If we started a new run, which the run aspect isn't implemented just yet, but we do have a run that we can do, and we have different things like a blockade. We have elite combat here. We have space stations where we can go and repair, and if we get through alive, we have a boss battle, which is epically brutal. It is brutal, 100%. But anyways, we're gonna start with the blockade. Now, this is a neutral thing, so there is a chance of it doing combat. These are kind of like your first two instances. There's always going to be combat. Also want to mention that there is a prologue that will be available on the demo. Highly recommend you do it, or else you won't know what's going on. And here we go. All right, so some basics. We have hull strength. We have hull strength. We have heat. Heat is a factor. There are some different cards that can increase the heat of your ship, and if it goes over the 4 limit, for instance, the heat threshold, then you will take hull damage. It's a pretty cool thing, and again, this is where card synergies come into play. So here is the basics of it. We have ordnance, we have energy, and we have mass. And we can modify them as much or as little as we want. But note that you just saw there that if we switch in the middle of battle, we do gain 1 heat. So it's something we want to be mindful of, and we don't want to do too often unless we know we can handle it. Now, there's lots of cards here, and I've played this game for, I think, 20 hours already. So I'm pretty familiar with everything, but I'm going to try not to go too terribly fast just because I need to be able to, allow you guys to actually have a taste of what this is about. So, as we mentioned here, we have our 4 cards here, which lines up with the different card decks that we had available to us from our crew members and our equipment. As you see here, those are those command points, which is our morale. and this would allow us to do certain things. So in this battle, for instance, I could only for a singular time gain 2 of each resource, which is actually going to be really helpful here. We're going to go ahead and do that. So we got 2 of each resource, and we see my cards. The capacitor straight up gets me 4 energy. Yep, so we're just going to drop that onto here. Sweet, I got 4 energy. I'm probably not going to use this much in the first battle, so I think I'd like to take one out and put it in with my ordnance. That way I'm gaining 4 ordnance per turn, whereas I wouldn't beforehand. We have 2 other cards, or 3 cards left. Conservation is great. We gain 1 energy for every 2 ordnance that we spend. You can see here, we have the availability to use all of these. So I'm going to drop conservation. That's going to get me 3 more energy, which means I honestly may just drop that out completely because we probably won't use that. Now the Catalyst Pulse is really cool because it deals 4 damage as well as 4 equipment damage. And then all pulse cards played this turn deal 1 more damage. So whereas I would probably save up and utilize that a little bit differently, I do want to just go ahead and do this, because watch, the Catalyst Pulse allows you to target certain equipment as well. So you see down here, I'm going to do 4 equipment damage out of the 10 available damage. When that goes over, when I knock it down completely, it'll actually knock out that resource card for a certain number of turns. So in this case, I want to make sure that they don't get their shields up. And there we go, that gets +1. It did 4, now it does 5. Boom. So if we do 1 more equipment damage, their shield pulse card will get knocked out for, I don't know, like 3 turns or more, depending on how everything rolls. So we're done with the things we need to do. We have no more cards. We got to end the turn. And you'll notice here that the way that enemy cards work is they simply have a cooldown factor. So these are what are called pips, those little 2 things. And so in the next turn, their pips are full and they can use Laser Pulse against me. The same kind of idea happens for me. You see the Laser Pulse has a cooldown of 2 turns. So I currently have a cooldown factor here for the Catalyst Pulse and the Laser Pulse. That means that I only have this available card now, which means next turn, I'll only be able to get a Laser Pulse, and then the turn after that. So you kind of have to strategize if you want to really min-max. Of course, it helps further down the line when you have more cards. Now, we're going to do a barrier, which is going to give me 6 shield points. There we go. So now I have 6, so it'll counteract their 4 damage. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and knock that baby out. Nice. So it's out for 3 turns, and you can actually see that it knocks out the module itself. And whenever the turns are over with, the equipment will get rebuilt. And it's actually a fun, cool little animation thing that I really, really enjoy. But again, there's nothing else I can do. There's no reason in having more shields because you have what's called duration over here. And so that means at the end of my turn, well, at the beginning of my next turn rather, my shields will deplete by half if I don't have any duration, which I don't. So we're gonna go ahead and end the turn. Perfect. All right, so you see my shields depleted by half. They have a ways before we need to attack them again. So I'm going to wait 1 more turn because look, I can, you know what? We may wait 2 more turns and just play a little more risky, because if I can get the Catalyst Pulse, that's going to increase the damage by 1 for my other 2 cards. So if I played this in 2 turns, right? No, in 1 turn actually. So next turn, that'll get me 4 plus 5 plus 5, which is 14 damage, which is more than they could do to me. So we're definitely going to do that. We're just going to hit the end turn button. They can't do anything because they're just gearing up for it all. Now this is interesting. We didn't have the chance, because the conservation card was in the cycle to come in. We actually don't get that Laser Pulse card this turn. So what we can do is we can throw the barrier up, and we know now, well, there's not a guarantee. So I'm actually going to discard this card because I don't need it. And then we're going to let this build up for 1 more turn. He's going to attack me with his Laser Pulse. And there we go. We have the guaranteed of everything. And look, they're rebuilding it. Oh, I love it. Sweet. Those drones are super cool. And then they just float away. I love it so much. But anyways, Catalyst Pulse. We can go, it doesn't matter because we're going to win anyways. But now we do 5. We've actually done negative damage and the ship blows up. Nice. Now after each victory, we do get a reward and we can add a card to our deck. Now this is great. This allows you to do all sorts of stuff. So for instance, we ran out of attack cards pretty easily and pretty quick. So I'm going to be more focused. I mean, this is great, The shield amplifier is also great, but the paired pulse deal 3 damage 2 times is just, it's something we have to do. So we're definitely going to go after paired pulse, and we're going to hit continue. All right, we're going to move along to the next blockade. The last fight drew the attention of everyone in the area. Multiple ships are approaching on intercept course, but only one of them is close enough to get into combat range in time. Press on, prepare for combat. But before we do that, oh no, I can't. I was going to do stuff with my ship, but that's okay. All right, so it's the same ship, but with a different loadout. All right, you can see he does the beam sweep. Now this deals 6 damage and ignites for 3. So that's 1 heat for every hull damage they do. So at a maximum of igniting for 3. So when he uses this, I will gain 3 heat. Now remember, if my heat goes over the limit, I will take hull damage. So this is an instance where if I want to make any resource modulations, I want to do it now so the heat dissipates in time for that beam sweep. Regardless, we have the capacitor or free stuff. So we're going to go ahead and bump that in there. My heat is going to be there. And I don't have enough to do anything, and I don't have enough command points to do anything over here either. So I think all I can hope for is that, let's go ahead and do the beam sweep. Yeah, let's do the beam sweep. There we go. So it did 6 damage total. I don't have enough, but next turn I can totally disable it. There we go. So I guess the real thing here, no, we want to go ahead and disable it. There we go. That's perfect. So that means for 3 turns, he can't use it. I can build up my stuff. I can attack him however I want to. And maybe we can get an attack card. It's not going to happen. That's fine. That's okay. All right. So we don't need the barrier shield. However, we can utilize this even though we won't be able to take this out. It's fine. But again, we want that catalyst pulse to increase the damage. And they only have 6 left. Oh, I forgot to play the conservation card. Could have gotten 2 more energy. That's all right though. All right, and now they have a shield up, but again, that duration is the same. So next turn, they will lose half of their shields, and that's what we're gonna go for. I don't need this many shields. I'm going to wait a turn and see if I can't use my conservation. Yeah, I should get a laser pulse too. All right, the beam sweep is back up and operational. They only have 3 shields, so we're gonna throw a barrier up in case this doesn't work, but it should. Oh, it's gonna work. Well, yeah, it'll work anyways. We're going to do the paired pulse on the barrier. He only has 3 health left now. His barrier is out of commission. Boom. Battle's over. We're going to add a card. The booster pulse. Ooh. Okay, so there's the catalyst pulse, where all pulse cards played this turn deal 1 damage. The booster pulse, all the pulse cards cost 1 less that turn. So that means if I were to have these 3 cards up, it would only take, what, 7 ordnance instead of 9? That's pretty daggum good. Or if you had both of these, you could deal 4 damage, which means they cost 1 less. That means this only costs 2 and 2, and that only costs 2. So you could do 4, 8, 13 damage with this combo. Holy flippin' flapstick. That's definitely what we want to try and go for. I'm all about the offense. My 2 barrier shields are enough for my defense. All right. Moving on to the sector gateway. After we breach the blockade, multiple ships try to make a run and exit the system. As we mix in with a group of civilian vessels, the Starkin gunship breaks off pursuit and focuses on keeping the fleeing ships in. Incoming message, request captain. It's impossible to isolate the source with so many ships grouped together. It's unknown contact. Greetings, captain. Impressive skills you've shown there. I could use the services of a bold freelancer such as yourself. I'm a data broker by trade, willing to offer a generous reward in exchange for some valuable intel. I need to gather data on ships in the sector, and by the looks of it, this isn't the last fight you'll get yourself into. Send me your combat logs after 6 combat encounters, and I'll transfer 150 credits on delivery. Oh, and captain, pick a weapon for my reserves while you're at it. You'll need all the firepower you can get. Consider it an investment in your future. Oh, snap. Okay, cool. So we get to choose between 2 different things. So the light barrage involves putting shred on some enemy ships, which is a little convoluted right now, but the light barrage is great. But I love the star flare even better because it allows you to, we're gonna move our AI there. That does 6 damage and after 1 turn. So being able to have that in the mix is going to be fantastic. All right, now, in terms of our ships and things we need to do, We have 122 credits. Now I could increase the capacity of my ordnance, in which case if I were to remove this, I could have a higher capacity. But I think we want to get 3 more credits and upgrade our reactor power, in which case we get another reactor power that we could then use so we could get more per turn, which I think is what we'll end up doing. I think that's the best move. So I need to get into 6 combat encounters. Now, a waypoint may or may not produce one. A conflict zone, unless you are allied, and even when allied, it will still produce a conflict. It'll just be, the narrative will be a bit different. So we can choose different routes that we want to go on. Now, these thicker blue lines, these are our primary pathways. This is what we really need to focus on that has the most experience and stuff that we'll gain. However, we do have fuel. Fuel allows us to go into these little side tracks and then allows us to get into the line. So for instance, what we could do is we could totally go here, here, and then boom, boom, and even all the way across, still hit this elite combat, and then even still go here all the way through. So that it allows you some flexibility in how you want to move and how you want to create your story as you go through the path. And of course, the more ships you encounter, the more rewards you get, the more chance you have of getting awesome cards and being able to stack up some stuff and do all of that sort of thing. So this demo is pretty daggum intense. Let's go ahead and go into the conflict zone over here. We're disliked, so it is going to trigger a battle for sure. An unregistered ship present in contested Solarii space is approaching on attacked vector. All right, same style of ship, but some vastly different things. So these guys have heavy barrage. This adds shred, and shred increases the minimum flak damage done by 1. So for instance, say this guy shreds 5. Shreds, let's just say shreds 1. We're just gonna say shreds 1. And then they played spread shot. Instead of dealing 0 to 5 damage, it would deal 1 to 5 damage. So it's a guaranteed increase based on the level of shred that they have. It's a fantastic system, and I love the shred mechanics, but I will say out of pulse, shred, and the railgun systems, I don't like shred. I like shred the least, to be honest. But it is a fun thing to do, and they have some fantastic combinations. So spread shot is interesting because they can play it this turn, and you'll see it deals 0 to 5 damage and destroys the closest enemy missile. So we don't want to do the star flare right now. That would not be a wise investment in our resources. In fact, it would guarantee that it would die. Instead, we're going to go ahead and throw up a barrier, and we're going to simply end the turn because I want to be able to 1-2 hit both of these guys. So they're going to hit me with spread shot. It does 3 damage, so it only knocks out 3 of mine. Alrighty. He can play that again. So basically, we don't want to play anything that could get hit. I wish I could see his deck of cards to know what he's going to be able to play. Regardless, I think we're just going to have to sacrifice and play one of our bigger pulse cards. Definitely want to try and get that spread shot out so I can get my star flare out. All right, so that did 4 damage. It broke through my shields and did 2 things of hull damage. Now this is great. We're going to get the capacity there. I'm going to throw up the barrier, even though there's a chance that he may break through that. And then I'm going to go ahead and play the conservation card because I can do damage here. And I can play that star flare, which now in the next turn will deal 6 damage because he can't do anything against it. Now, unfortunately, I don't have many cards. In fact, we can pretty much guarantee that I'll get only ordnance cards, which I guess works. We'll see. That heavy barrage is going to hurt. Yep, so that did 8 damage total. There we go. There's that star flare working for us. We're going to throw up the shield again. We have to. I'm going to do the pulse. Oh, we can knock out a spread shot. Fantastic. If I had realized that before I... There we go. Now that's fine that he has 2 turns. We'll be good. I'm actually going to drop the mass and we're going to invest in that because I think... Yeah, we could definitely get him knocked out next turn. Well, I say next turn. Actually, we could. Right? That would do... Nope, that would only do 9. Okay, so we're going to do the star flare. And I'm going to drop the laser here. So now the next turn comes, he has no shields, he's out of the match. Boom. So you see how these synergies can work really, really well. I absolutely love it. All right, so we need to get out of the mindset of we've got plenty of ordnance cards, as much as I'd love a Star Flare. I think Burnout is awesome, but I think we're gonna go up against some elite ships, and I would love to gain 10 shield points. So basically, you could play this in combo where you gain 6 shield points, and because you're shielded, you could then, like next turn or something, play Shield Amplifier, and you would get even more. So yeah, we're definitely gonna go with the Shield Amplifier. All right, Engineer. I was able to patch our hull a little with some salvage we took off that ship. We got 4 points, so now we're back up at 50. And I'm gonna go ahead and get another reactor power. So now I have 4 per turn from the get-go, and now I can just juggle between energy and mass. And this is where, like in the future, I could bump this up, and I would be able to get 5 ordnance per turn. Like, so there's definitely some min-maxing that you can do. We're gonna go into the conflict zone. Captain, permission to report. Our scanners picking up signs of combat. A Starkin unarmed ship is being attacked by a deadweight gunship. Civilian ships holds integrity is critical. You can see we have relations with Starkin and deadweights. If we are to intervene in time, our only option is to fire on the attacking ship and draw its attention. Firing our weapons without initiating combat protocols first will leave our ship at a disadvantage in the upcoming fight. But we get an increase to Starkin relations. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. All right, so we started with -2 cards, which is a bit of a bummer, but it's okay. The only thing we can do is go after their charged barrier, and it also includes 1 duration, so that's interesting. We're gonna go ahead and attack it. I don't need to do a barrier yet myself. No, because that happens in 1 turn later, so. All right, so now's when we throw that up. We're gonna get our capacitor, which is gonna do wonders. And let's take a look at my deck. Yeah, I think we can break through this with our other ordnance that we should be getting. Yeah, let's go ahead and end the turn. All right, so our shield deflected that, no problems whatsoever. And now we have a large capacity to do some damage with. So what we're gonna do is we are going to... We're gonna do 2 Star Flares, because that'll wreck all of their shields, and then I can take the charged barrier down in the next turn. They can do that with us next. We're good here. The idea of playing your cards in the right order is super crucial. There we go. That's exactly what we wanted to have happen. And now, yes, we can. We're gonna do conservation. We're going to knock out the charged barrier, and then we're going to get an increase of 5 damage, which knocks out both of those guys. We throw that barrier up, and now they have 3 left. They can't attack at all, and their Star Flare isn't going to do anything to us. And now it's just free game. Like, they're just dead. Boom. I love it. I love the card synergies in this game. All right, so we can do Rampart. We gain 10 shield points. If you're unshielded, gain 1 duration, disables 1 production for the turn. Deal 4 damage, return a laser card from the discard pile. Cannot return itself or consume. We're definitely going to go with Rampart. That's a really good one. All right, we have a chance to go down a neutral, and you'll see that little fuel thing. That's just an indicator that you'll use that. Everything seems quiet. That happens. Okay. But now we get to do an elite combat. Elite combat is very larger, more heavier troops and gunships to go up against. Pick up a massive heat reading. An elite Starkin gunship is approaching fast. Oh, this is a chunker. And they also have more card slots, which is great. All right, so they have a laser pulse. They have a spin up. Every time Chain Burst is played, reduce the cooldown of Chain Burst attack by 1. Yeah, so we need to do what we can. And we have a maximum number of command points as well. So let's go... Next attack does 50% damage. And this does 2 of each resource, which would give me 9. Unfortunately, that does 10. Regardless, we're going to do conservation. Yeah, I can only do 8 if I do... I tell you what, let's do the Star Flare. And then I guess there's no way... Yeah, that's 10. I'm wondering if I shouldn't just do... Oh, my word. I wish I got one more. I guess we can just handle it and just suck it up. All right, so they're going to spin up and they're going to get that chain burst going, which does 3 damage 3 times. We need our barrier up 100%. And now I'm going to gain 2 of each resource. And my next attack is going to do 50% damage. No, I want to do that with this one. So let's go ahead and do... Yeah, we can do almost all of this. We're going to do... I guess it doesn't matter which one we do here. Let's do this one. So we're going to go there. So now everything does more damage. My next attack deals 50% damage, which means we do 6 2 times, which knocks out that shield. We can do 5 damage here. And I can't do my Star Flare, which is fine. We just did a whole lot of damage, though. There we go. Laser Pulse, which is what we expected. We're going to Laser Pulse their Laser Pulse, which knocks them out. Yep, that's the right move, 100%. And then in the next turn, we can nab like Ramparts. I think we'll actually do Ramparts because we should be done for regarding our shield. Nice. All right, the shield is gone. We actually gained 4 more energy. I'm going to get Rampart, which gives me 1 duration on top of everything else. And they won't be able to do anything. 3 times is only 1 left. But we can totally do a Star Flare. And yeah, we're just going to play it a little more conservative. There we go. Chain Burst. Nice. So we need space. I kind of think I want to hold off on this. No, let's just go ahead. We're going to go after that. So that way, if we can break through that Fortify one, we'll be good. All right. So they're going to attack me for a lot of damage. So we're going to go ahead and bring that up. But I can gain a lot of this resource. I can actually do all 3 of these. So we're going to sacrifice the Booster Pulse. We know it's not going to do much damage. However, it makes these guys much more accessible. This does 3 damage 2 times. Boom. We didn't even need the last one. Oh, nice. We got a pod, an ammo pod. 50% chance to add a Firefly missile card to your draw pile after every missile fired. Oh, nice. That's really helpful. We also get money. We can add a card. Ammo dump. Absolutely. This just straight up gets us 4 ordnances. Or ordnance resource. That's definitely worth it. All right, and so now we can go through the conflict zone or we can go through a waypoint. We're actually doing really good. So I want to go after this other elite ship. The wreckage in front of us seems to be the source of the signal our sensors detected. Ship's reactor is close to a critical state and could explode at any minute. You want to move in closer? Absolutely. Upon closer inspection, you see a piece of equipment still in working condition. 30% success, 10% wreck explodes. Gripper tool is a firm hold on the last attachment. You cautiously pull it to one side and it clicks open. Scavenger drone carefully removes its cargo and brings its equipment on board. Flak Armory. Oh, okay. So, Flak Armory gives a target lock, which means we deal 1 damage as long as we play 1 attack per turn. This gives us 1 card slot, costs 1 energy for every existing card slot. So we would need someone to man it for the cards to come into play, but that's very, very interesting. And then yes, 50% to add a Firefly missile to your draw pile is great. And then over here, like we could totally go and add an ordnance thing, but I don't think we will. All right, we're going to go after a different elite ship from the Solarii, a massive heat reading. An elite gunship is approaching fast. Ooh, what do we have here? 60 hull damage. This dude's a beast. Opening shot deals flak damage. And then a light barrage also deals damage. And then they have a lighter rounds upgrade, which could deal another additional flak damage. So we've got a lot of damage coming in. We really want to focus in on our mass and our energy readings. Would gaining 2 of each resource do me any good now? I don't think it would, but we can go after... Well, to be honest, we could go after the light barrage. We're going to do the opening shot because it has a chance to shred if we don't have shred on us. So we want to be able to knock that one out first. There we go. No damage done. That does some damage. We lost 3 hull damage. There's our ammo dump. Thank you very much. What does this do? 10% chance to discard an enemy attack card for every point of hull damage dealt. That sucks. Yeah, we're definitely going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and launch that sucker. Let's drop some extra stuff into here. I think that would be crucial. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get 2 of each resource, even though we can't utilize it yet. Dang. All right, so we're taking a little bit of a beating. Not as much as they're taking right now. Sweet. So that Firefly is just it's a small thing that does a great deal of damage. Super awesome. Let's go ahead and get conservation. We're going to deal 3 damage 2 times. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to knock this out. We'll put that Star Flare and that Firefly into service. And then we're going to go and do Rampart because we don't have any shields, so it adds duration as well. They're going to use Light Barrage. No worries. +1 to maximum flak damage. So you can see they're increasing the damage being done to the by their own stuff. We got an increase. Sweet. So we should be good on shield amplifiers. That amplifier gives us 17 shields. 4 damage. All pulse cards played deal 1 more damage. Absolutely. We're going to go the Light Barrage. We're going to knock that out. Oh, I don't have enough to knock that barbed shrapnel, but that's okay. So they're out for 2 turns. Piece of cake. Easy peasy. We're going to deal the boost. Oh, that's just a pulse card, though. Let's go ahead and do the Firefly. Yeah, we'll keep the... We're going to go ahead and use it. That way we just get a lot more per turn. There we go. All right, now we can utilize this a little better. We would still need to wait 1 more turn. So I'm going to throw up my other barrier shield. And then the next turn we'll be able to use all of these, maybe even plus another one. All right. Let's do 4 damage. Oh, we can't use all of them. We were so close to being able to use them all. However, I can use 2 of them. And we can totally knock out that one. Oh, and I forgot to use conservation. I always forget the conservation card. But it's fine, because we can simply knock him out. Good deal. All right. What is that? Eutectic armor. -1 enemy laser damage, +1 to enemy ignite requirement. Expires when you take 20 hull damage. Interesting. All right. Overclock reactor. Adds 1 reactor power. Adds 4 heat to your ship. Requires 0 heat to play. That's real dangerous, but at the same time, that would be really useful. Reduce shredding requirements by 1 this turn. I don't really like that. The heavy pulse deal 8 damage. Just straight up 8 damage. We're going to go with heavy pulse. There we go. All right, so we can put eutectic armor into our flak armory, but again, it requires us to have a person there, and we don't have a person yet. So it isn't super incredibly useful at the moment, but still, I think it'll be good. We're going to go ahead and spend some money to get 1 more reactor power, and I'm going to put that into my mass. That's going to help our ship. We have a credit cache here. The signal you picked up from an encrypted credit cache seems to lead to some debris of what was once a trading post. You quickly attempt to hack it before anyone else picks it up. It's encrypted with the multi-layer lock. You manage to use the ship's computer to brute force your way and access the cat. Oh, nice. We got 60 credits. All right, we're going to continue moving along. Our waypoint manages the access data of nearby observation station, giving you coordinates and drive signatures of all ships in the vicinity. I can feel the data, or feed the data rather. Wow, I can't speak. And prepare first strike protocol, which means we get 50% attack damage in the first round of the next combat encounter. Nice. We're going to go our waypoint here. Come across a Solari patrol ship. Stated mission securing the area. You're in a Solari controlled space. Please provide your whole identification number as well as the identity of everyone on board. You know what? I would rather save that 3 damage for the elite ship. So we're going to provide the requested data. Everything seems to be in order. Thank you for your cooperation. Proceed. Yeah, we're going to go after this guy. Massive heat reading, an elite Solari gunship. And we start off with a fantastic set. We have ammo dump, which gets us +4. We have capacitor, which gets us +4 energy. We can throw up that barrier. Oh my word, it deals 9 damage. Don't mind if I do. Neither of these can take down that, so we'll be good. But we literally have no cards. It's fine. It's all good. We may take some heat from this, but that's about it. All right, that's good. Hey, that's fine. We broke even, and they just took 12 damage. 15 damage? 15 damage. All right, we're definitely going to do Rampart. That's going to get us the best bang for our buck. And we can do all 3 of these. So we're definitely going to do this to... Let's... you know what? I can take out both of their weapons. Because I can do 4 damage 2 times. And then I can do laser pulse on the opening shot. Nice. So they can't do any form of attack for 3 turns. Which means we don't have to worry about shields. We don't have to worry about anything but, you know, shooting over some missiles and things of that nature. I love it. It's going to allow us to... Oh, I can't build any more there. This is why you want to expand that, because like I have enough of that. We'll do it over into that. Cool. There's nothing they can do outside of increase the flak damage, which still has an effect. Don't get me wrong, but it's not mind-blowing. 8 damage. You know what? No, we're gonna save that. I'm gonna do that. We're gonna save it. Sweet. Reason why we're gonna save it is boom. I can just immediately take it offline. So I don't even have to choose. And then I can go to the light barrage, hit them twice, get a shield amplifier because I'm already shielded. Bada bing, bada boom. And then all we gotta do is a real basic anything we want to. Okay, that was incredibly simple. Add 1 battery surge card for your draw pile for every 12 energy produced. Okay. I'm down with that. Beam recalibration. +1 laser damage. If you deal 15 laser hole damage this turn, effect is applied for the rest of combat. That would be pretty intense. We don't have the ability to do that now. Disable production of energy and mass for 1 turn. Next turn, deal an additional 4 ordnance. Nah, we're gonna go with the light torpedo. Deals 8 damage after 2 turns and requires 3 production. That's fine. 59 buckaroonies. All right, very cool. Sir, I was able to patch up our hole a little with some of the salvage we took. Fantastic. All right, so we can bump up that. That means I could do this and get 5 ordnance per turn. Overflow recycler. I don't know what the battery surge does. Do I have a battery surge? I don't have a battery surge. All right, so basically what we can do here, can I take that away? We're gonna go hang out in the space station. Now we have an allied space station here. It's a pretty obvious one to go into. We can dock with the station. It's rare to see a friendly face. Let's patch up your ship a little. Nice, so they patched it for free. We can do some crew activities. Let's head over to the station bar. We're gonna get some morale for the next 3 nodes, which means we get +4. We need to use that with our last 3 for sure. And then we're gonna enter the maintenance hangar. Now, in the maintenance hangar, that's where we're going to sell some things. We're not gonna use this flak armor, and we can actually sell it for 225 buckaroonies. Don't mind if I do. And then, let's see. So the missile pods are awesome. I would love to freaking have missile pods. Deals 12 damage after 2 turns. Unfortunately, requires 5 production, and that's a bit outside of our capabilities if we wanted to do anything else. We could do a defense protocol. While unshielded, reduced energy cost of shield cards by 2. While shielded, increase energy cost by 1. Or gain 1 energy every time you play a card from this equipment. or missile damage no longer carries through to your hull when your shield is destroyed. Yeah, we're gonna do that. So that means, for instance, if I only had, let's say, 2 shields and 2 shield left, and they sent a rocket that does 6 damage, it would only do 2 damage, and it wouldn't carry through that other 4. And if I recall correctly, that boss battle dude has some rockets on him. I hope, anyways. I hope I just didn't blow my money incorrectly. And yeah, we'll see. But anyways, I gotta say, I cannot get over how good these graphics are. Oh, they just look so good. I just love the style. The art style is fantastic. We're gonna leave the spaceport. We're gonna only have a few more battles left, and then we'll be done with our first run. All right, we're gonna depart the station, and we're gonna go into the conflict zone. No worries. All right, we're starting to experience some bigger boys consistently without them being elites. So we got to keep that in mind. We need to be a little more conservative. Not conservative. Now, one thing I want to mention here is I don't have a lot of mass shield or mass cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed into my ordnance as much as I can. So 215, that will allow me to still be able to play a good number of cards here while really boosting up everything else. So a couple of things to think about here. For one, Light Torpedo does 8 damage after 2 turns. He plays a shield card. He gets 4 points. It's going to be a little bit iffy, so I want to take this out as quickly as I can. We're going to do our next attack. Is going to deal 50 damage, which means that I can play... Oh, I can't play both of those cards. Dadgummit. Regardless, I'm going to play the Light Torpedo. It does 12 damage after 2 turns. And then, yeah, let's just go ahead and overwhelm him with that stuff. I'm going to get Rampart as well. And I think we'll be good. Yep, he's going to play Light Barrage. That shield is, of course, going to be very influential. We're still going to break through, though. And this is the more important part, is I'm still going to deal 8 damage even after that's done. Even more damage on top of that. Oh, I forgot to play that card, dadgummit. Well, let's be conservative then. Yeah, I think we'll be conservative. We'll take a little bit of hits. All right, here we go. It's going to deal 16 damage. Boom. All right, so we have some barriers coming up that we can use. There we go. I'm going to pump into this almost exclusively. Conservation doesn't do us any good. We got 8. We're going to only hit 6. We may take a couple of hits here. Yep, that's okay. All right. Still don't have the capacity. Oh, no, we do. We're going to play Conservation. We're going to deal 4 more damage. There we go. Now we have deal 5 damage, and pulse cards cost less. Let's go after the Covering Fire. And I'm going to throw out a Star Flare. And I'm going to slap a barrier on because that's going to help me against those guys. All right, I'm in a little bit of a pickle here. I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to hope... I think I can take him out. I actually do think I can. Deal 3 damage 2 times. Oh, yeah, we can take him out. Yep. Brilliant. Nice. Well, that was actually pretty close. And so we missed getting that Star Flare hit on us. Brilliant. What card do we want? Generates 1 extra ordnance for every 2 attack cards you hold at the end of your turn. Deals 2 damage 3 times in 1 turn. We're going after the Firecracker. By the time your crew is finished gathering any useful salvage, the combat data log transfer is complete. Thank you for your services. That's right, it's the unknown contact. As per our agreement, the funds have been transferred until we meet again, Captain. Judging by the time between the data transfer and the incoming message, the data broker ship should be within scanner range, but our sensors aren't picking anything up. Interesting. We're going to go into a neutral space station. We're going to dock with the station. We won't get any maximum beyond our 12, so I'm not going to do that again, but we're going to go to the maintenance hangar. And that maintenance hangar is going to allow us to get some last-second purchases and or increase like ordinances and things like that. I don't know, what do we got? Anything that could benefit? Gain 2 random resources every time you play a card from here? Yes. We have some railgun stuff, which we don't need or use. Yes, let's go ahead and get that. Gain 2 random resources every time you play a card from this equipment. That's awesome. That's fantastic. We're gonna go ahead and leave because we can't do anything else. Our hull's repaired, everything's good to go. We're gonna fight this boss battle, and it's gonna be terrifying. All right, we're gonna depart the station. It's time for the boss battle. Sweet mother of pearl, that's a big boy. All right, so what do we have here? We have lighter rounds, which increases flak damage. So every 3 turns, he increases flak damage, which means he'll do a maximum of 7 damage. We have a star flare, which deals 6 damage, but remember, he can't. What in the crap is this? I wonder if we got a resource boost from something. Or I wonder if they just give that to you so you can help fight it, because that's really bad. So anyways, what we're going to do here, 6 damage, retribution, draw and play an improvised flat card, and then they also get 12 shield points with 1 duration every 2 turns, which is insane. We're going to use that. So one of the key things we need to think about and do is we need to just overwhelm him with firepower, and we want to reduce his shields. So we are going to go with our overload cannons. We're going to do 12 damage against the raised shields. We're going to do 4 damage, and we're going to knock out those shields. And then I'm going to knock out with both of those flares because they can't do anything against me there. Now, admittedly, they can still hit me. I don't have any shields, but we did just do a lot of damage, knocked out their shields, and we're about to do 12 more damage. So the flak is going to hurt. So they draw an improvised flak card every time, and they're already dealing more damage. They've got that star flare. There's your improvised flak. I can't do the shield amplifier because I don't have shields already. So we have the ability. We're just going to overload him. Firefly, light torpedo, firefly. That is a massive amount of damage that we're about to start doing. I'm going to go ahead and bump that up, and we're going to use those shields for our own advantage. We're going to take some hits. I'm not going to lie. That's a lot of pain that we're going through. And we are going to desperately... Yeah, that's a lot of pain we're going through. I need shields. Oh, sweet heavenly mercy, we did it. Okay, Rampart gives us 10 shields. We're going to get 10 more shields for 20. And again, I'm just going to throw things at them. Let's go... Oh, I really wish... We're going to go after titanium shells. And hope that our missiles are going to just do the right amount of damage to them. There we go. Lighter rounds, 7 to 9. That dealt 8, and he still broke through our shields. That is absolutely bonkers. There we go. All right, so switching ammo has been knocked out, so we've actually lost an entire weapon thing. We're going to do ammo dump on ourselves. We need the barrier, but we need it more for next turn. Deal 4 damage. Let's go ahead and get the fireflies. That's going to be 8. That's going to be 12. Let's go after the star flare, and we'll go ahead and do the barrier to reduce the amount of damage for sure. There we go. They only did 4. That's great. Okay, cool. Well, we won. We won, and that huge boost of resources we got at the beginning really helped. There we go. Very nice. Okay, that was not as bad as I was thinking it was. At one point, that was significantly harder. While unshielded, reduce the energy cost of shields. All right, we got that similar, or had the option to. And now the only thing we can do is armament, which generates extra ordnance for every 2 attack cards. That's cool. All right, we continue, and it's the end of the demo. All right, guys, so that is a taste of the Arbalest, which is one of the 2 ships that if you're watching this and you're not a content creator with the preview build, then you will be able to have access to this ship. And then we'll go into the Marauder in the next episode because it's a completely different play style. And then I cannot wait for you to look at the Lancer, which is what you guys don't have access to that we content creators do. It's a fantastic ship. It involves my favorite weapon system. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to do all the things, like, subscribe, leave comments in the comments section. And if you want to really support the channel, go above and beyond by joining as a member, in which case you get early access to any videos I'm allowed to, as well as an exclusive Napoleon Total War campaign if that's your dig. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me once again. This is Havoc, and I'm out of here.